So the idea of primarily the C4C 0 hours conversations is like all the individuals who are part of this Coffee for Cause community. We meet them one-on-one, understand their perspective, get to know about their backgrounds, the kind of work that they do in sustainability and responsibility domain, or say in the circular economy domain. And then these conversations lead on to the panel discussions and community discussions that happen at Coffee for Cause. So we call it C4C 0 hours, and then it moves on to the real-time discussions that happen. So the idea of course, we discussed yesterday earlier as well, day before in fact, primarily how aluminium is sustainable or say helps in the circular economy model, and we talked about various advantages of aluminium. So our discussion will primarily revolve around that today. Before that, Ganeshan, I want you to share something about you, about your background, and then also introduce Paul to us, like whosoever is reading, because this video is going to be shared with all the stakeholders for Coffee for Cause as well, and we share it in newsletters too. So let's start with your introduction, and then you can also introduce Paul.
Okay. So I'm Ganeshan. I head the corporate affairs for Ball Beverage Packaging in India. I have an overall experience of 30 years in the advocacy space, and I have varied experience in different sectors, starting with industry organization like CII and FICCI on policy advocacies and those things. And I worked with the various state governments very closely on policy advocacies, and also on developing industry policies for states like Andhra Pradesh, industrial policy, IT policy, tourism policy, like small scale industry policy. So I have a lot of insight to the various challenges faced by different industry sectors. So that gave me an opportunity, having worked with industry association. I like both the CII and FICCI. I had worked in Andhra Pradesh, and also instrumental in setting up the Green Business Center in Hyderabad. It was the first platinum rated building out of the US. The first building out of the US was the Green Business Center in Hyderabad. So I was one of the person got involved in those activities. Then I moved to, since having worked in industry associations, talking about industry issues and policies and those things and all. So I took the opportunity of working with some of the organization in the agriculture sector. So where I worked with one of the multinational organizations who are into agriculture technologies and those things and all. So that gave me an exposure to work with the farmers and policymakers across India. Then from there I moved to a food processing industry. So from seed producer and seed technology producer who is using the end, the agriculture product to make starch and derivatives from maize. So I had the opportunity of working with those set of people also, where they ultimately whatever the farmer is producing, that is being used by industry. So what are the expectations, the quality standards and those things and all. So that gave me an exposure. Then sustainability always is close to my heart. When we talked about sustainability in the agriculture sector, how do we double the production with the limited resources and water and those things. And since this opportunity came in Ball Beverage Packaging, so because their USP is sustainability. So how do we do sustainable packaging solutions, especially in the beverage segment, because that is always on the growing trend. As far as the beverage sector is concerned, that is growing in a very fast pace. It is growing because of the lifestyle changes in the young population, especially because India's more than 50% of the population is below 35 years. So they have the aspirational growth, and they have the money to spend, all those things, because the service sector is growing and most of them working in the service sector. I thought, how best I can contribute in the sustainability space in the beverage packaging, because that is the burning subject here today in India. A lot of discussions happening around that. So I thought of taking this opportunity and contribute my knowledge and the reach, whatever I have through the advocacy activities among the stakeholders. So that is the brief about myself.
And before we even talk about Ball, you will definitely introduce that. It's been 30 years of experience in sustainability space, working with policymakers, working with farmer groups, working with organizations in packaged food industry. So how do you see how this space has evolved over the years? like what do you see it has changed in this space in agriculture, in packaged food industry as per se, in the last 30 years? Has it started becoming more sustainable? Are companies adopting the sustainability practices more? Like your perspective, your observation in this, then we'll introduce Bob.
Yeah, so that is a very good question, Ranjan, because see, earlier in the, if you look at that, when I started this working with industry associations, initially this all started with the quality standards, the ISO 9000 quality standards, people used to go for that. So when we look at that, when you go for a product, you look for what are the quality standards. So initially, even though people were not aware of such things, the quality standards are evolving. And internationally, when these things were happening, the ISO 9000, when you want to export your product, or when a multinational company wants to buy your product in India as a vendor, then this ISO 9000 standard started coming, and they started putting that clause that are you an ISO 9000 standard organization? So the quality standard came into picture. A lot of people started talking the quality standards. I need to go for that. Then came, this environment issue. Then we started talking about ISO 14000. So when we talked about the industrial revolution, and people started competing each other, various states competing at each other for getting industries. Because after the liberalization in 91, when before that all this publicity undertaking, they were the people who are in the manufacturing sectors. When a lot of private people started coming, multinational companies started coming here, then that initially the quality standards started becoming the thing of the day. Then slowly that quality started moving towards environment. Then ISO 14000. Then this government started talking about the ISO 14000 standards and the pollution control board, and all these people come together and they're talking about the emissions and related to those things, and how are you managing your waste and your industrial waste and those things and all. So slowly, then people started talking about then environment, sustainability, like that. So this today, what is happening? Earlier you had the quality, then environment, and you talked about the CSR, your things and all. Now sustainability become a talk of the day now. Okay, now people start talking about, now the companies have to come with a sustainability report. They have to report their sustainability initiatives, so the annual report itself. So like that is slowly started evolving. Then everyone started talking about that because of the resource and the challenges as far as the resources are concerned, availability is concerned. Now, initially, the water was freely available for the farmers, power was freely available for the farmers, because government, because of their own compulsions, they started giving free power to farmers, and because of that, the people started using digging bore wells and started drawing water from the ground. The groundwater depletion happened, and a lot of state government also started talking about how do we diversify the crops, for most water efficient crops like that. So ultimately, what is going to happen is that when you start about environment standards, sustainability standards, everything ultimately is all going to talk about overall how are you going to use your resources efficiently. So it is one side, the government is trying to do their level best, bringing all the regulations and acts and those things, rules and regulations and acts and those things and all. Plus the consumer also become more vigilant these days, how efficiently we are using those resources. So now, especially the young people, they are all looking at that, whatever product they are buying, they are all concerned about that, how the products are coming. So that is why, like a lot of, today, if you look at that, agriculture per se is that a lot of the organic products, like organic farming and, those things and all getting a lot of attention today. People are going towards more organic products today. They don't want to have the chemical and those things and all to be used, those things and all. At the same time, government is also talking about that, how are you going to conserve water? Even Prime Minister also time and again has spoken about that, how per drop of water, how are you going to double the production? So how are you going to control those things? So these are the awareness is slowly catching up, and all the stakeholders, they are also joining these initiatives. Then whatever way possible, they are all joining this initiative, but there is a long way to go.
And a good opportunity for people like us.
Absolutely.
The governments, the individuals, the conscious consumers, everybody is talking about sustainability and optimally using our resources, and we are becoming conscious about optimally using our resources.
Yes, absolutely.
And that brings you to Ball.
Let's
introduce Ball to our listeners, whoever is listening to the video, and then why we call Ball as a sustainable brand.
a global leader in sustainable packaging, an innovator and trusted collaborator, a pioneer in aerospace technologies, and a financially strong, sustainable enterprise for more than 130 years. Ball Corporation is the leading supplier of high-quality packaging for the world's greatest beverage, food, household, and personal care brands. Every day, our recyclable packaging products touch the lives of billions of consumers around the world. Ball Aerospace and its technologies provide complex solutions for government and commercial customers, fostering greater understanding of science and the universe. Together, we believe in our people and our ability to deliver value to all of our stakeholders, our customers, communities, employees, and shareholders.
Yeah. So Ball, it's a very old organization, 140-year-old organization. It is a part of our organization, known as Ball Corporation globally. Okay, it is based in the US, and it is a Fortune 300 company globally with nearly $40 billion turnover, and they are into more than 18,000 people working there globally. And we have the three major verticals, business verticals. One is beverage packaging. We are the world leaders in metal packaging. Second thing, we are the aerosol packaging for the deodorants and those things and all. And third thing is the aerospace technology, where we work closely with NASA and all. So that is globally. And in India, we have two manufacturing units as far as for packaging is concerned. And for aerosol, there is one unit in Ahmedabad. So these two units for beverage packaging, one is based in Maharashtra, that is in Taloja in Navi Mumbai. And second one is in Sri City in Andhra Pradesh, down south, close to Chennai, because it's around an hour or so the drive down from Chennai to Sri City. So this is about Ball. And in India, we supply to majority of the beverage companies, you name it, any beverage companies, either in the alcohol beverage segment or in the soft drink segment or energy drink segment, we supply to most of the companies. And coming to your question about why it is a more sustainable company, because aluminum, because we are in the manufacture of aluminum beverage packaging. So aluminum is the most sustainable product because it is infinitely recyclable. Okay, we can make time and again, we can recycle and we can bring back aluminum as again in the same shape. So that's what we call aluminum as the most sustainable thing. And a lot of other sustainable benefits also there as far as aluminum packaging is concerned. Not only at the recyclability of aluminum, but other aspects of the fuel what we are saving in transportation, the energy what we are saving in refrigeration, the water what we are saving while reusing other packaging such like glass bottle, especially in the alcohol beverage segment in India. The glass bottles are reused 4 to 5 times. So there are water is being used for washing those used bottles, whereas can, this is recycled and brought back as a fresh can. So that much water we are able to save. So if overall the sustainability point of view, look at that, aluminum is the best suitable sustainable product available today.
Sounds good. So when you mentioned fuel, I couldn't understand that part. How in transportation fuel is consumed less when we are transporting beverage cans?
Yeah. So for example, in India, predominantly we supply to alcohol beverage segment to package beer. Now, beer, there are two packaging, the packaging happens in two packaging substrates in India. One is glass bottle, second one is aluminum can. Glass bottle, 650 ml glass bottle, on an average, if you take, it may weigh around 300 to 350 grams, whereas aluminum can will weigh only around 11 grams. So when the weight is more, when you are putting the liquid inside and transport, when the weight is getting more, the more fuel is being used for. That is one thing. Second thing, the stackability point of view, because the cylindrical shape and stackability is more, double the quantity of the liquid we can transport the same vehicle what we are using compared to glass and cans. So for example, if you are using 100 bottles to send 100 liters, but the double the quantity of the same vehicle we can use to send double the quantity of liquids when you pack in aluminum can. So that is what we say that a lot of fuel is being saved for transporting the liquid, either packaged in can or when compared to compared to bottle, double the quantity we can transport in can, thereby a lot of fuel being saved.
If we compare it with the PET bottles, the PET bottles we generally call them, the weight would almost be the same.
Weight would be also same. Absolutely, but again, the stackability, because the shape of the PET bottle, if you look at that, is not cylindrical shape.
Correct.
Okay, so more or less the shape of the glass bottle and PET bottle is same, so it is not cylindrical shape. So the stackability is a question as far as PET is also concerned.
So how does it fare? We understand the PET bottle part anyway, because it's not decomposable and the plastic doesn't get recycled. It's just getting depleting and all. How does the aluminium packaging stand against or say compared to the Tetra Paks that we often have?
Again, that coming to multi-layer packing. In fact, we call it Tetra Pak is one of the brands who is producing multi-layer packing.
It's become generic name for the
names like Xerox, what we use today, because it's a photocopier. Xerox is a brand, but Xerox generally Xerox copy. Okay, so Tetra Pak is a brand. So what is happening again? There also see multi-layer packing. Why it is called? Because there is different layers are there as far as MLP is concerned. There is a layer of cardboard, there is a layer of plastic, there is a layer of aluminum foil, etc. So the separating this, when you are going for recycling, the separation, that the multiple layer of things are there, right? The separating each layer is a big gigantic task. That is why they are not able to separate it and recycle it. So what happens? The entire thing is getting recycled and getting to a different form. Today, what are the things they have been used? There are a lot of byproducts are being made from Tetra Pak, so-called the MLP. Okay, so now compared to aluminum can, here the advantage is that type of byproducts we are not making. We are making again aluminum can or anything in aluminum. Again, that is recyclable. Whereas if you make, for example, if you are making a table made of Tetra Pak, you cannot recycle the table and make Tetra Pak out of that. Sure. Whereas aluminum, you recycle it, you make it as a can or make it as aluminum foil or make it as aluminum wire or make anything out of aluminum. Again, you can recycle it. Again, you can make something out of that. So that is what we say that compared to even the MLP, aluminum has the most sustainable, aluminum is most sustainable.
What are the things that goes into MLP? There is obviously there is a cardboard, so there is a papered element included in there. There's also aluminum layer inside, right?
Aluminum layer is there. There's aluminum layer, that is aluminum foil. Generally, what we use the aluminum. Right. Plus this plastic also there inside.
Plastic is also there in that one.
Yeah, there is a polythene, this one also there inside.
So all this talks about Tetra Pak being recyclable and reusable and more environment friendly are doing probably not that too as much as they're talking about it.
No, so that is why the government regulations also, if you look at that, when you talk to the MLP manufacturers, there is a stringent norms on them to collect this Tetra Pak, the MLPs and recycle it. Even the EPR, when you're talking about the EPR, even the
EPRs are coming now,
yeah, even the thing is that, again, the MLP is specifically mentioned in that multi-layer packaging.
Correct.
So that is a big task for them to collect this MLP and recycle it as per the EPR norms.
In fact, I came across a website called Tetra Lies recently, just a few days ago, and all these facts were mentioned in there, and they were surprising for me too. Most of these recycling plants or say the recycling units are being supported by these Tetra companies itself, and they are picking up that waste and getting it recycled. But how much of it is possible? Hey, Ganeshan, moving on, talking about aluminium assets. So whenever we are talking to the companies, so this is itself a natural resource, aluminium. It's being mined. So recently I was talking to leadership at a steel industry as well. They were like, steel is the most, in fact, stainless steel is the most sustainable product because it can be reused and we don't have to mine so much. But the moment the consumption of aluminium, let's say through beverage cans or another packaging material goes up, we'll have to mine more as well. So how does it connect backwards? Forwards, we can say, okay, it has a circular economy model, but obviously we'll need more raw aluminium for that as well. So please, over to you.
Yeah, Ranjan, if you look at that, this aluminium today, globally, if you look at that, 75% of the aluminium ever produced is still in use. Okay, so why it is so? Because it is the recyclability of aluminium. it can come back, it can recycle it. So 75% of the aluminum ever produced is still in use. And globally, the aluminum recycling rate is around 70%. Okay, you use it anywhere in the industry, be it automobile or aviation or packaging, anywhere. The overall recycling rate of aluminum is around 70% globally. Now, recycled content, if you look at that aluminum beverage packaging, the recycled content what we are getting, the aluminum coil today, is around 76%. So there is a high volume of recycling is already happening. Now look at India, 92% of the aluminum beverage cans is collected and recycled because
92%.
aluminum, 92%. Okay, so why aluminum is a valuable metal? That is one thing, because whoever is in that value chain, they get a very good money for that. Second thing, it can be used in different sectors, not only in beverage packaging. It can be used in automobile, it can be used in aviation, industrial uses. Anywhere, it can be in the electrical, for making electrical wire or anything. So they can use in wherever they want aluminum is used, they can be used. They can recycle and use those aluminum available in the market. That is one thing. Then the concern of that more mining and those things and all, that is why it is important for us to have an organized way of collecting the aluminum and bring back for recycling. Thereby, we will be able to reduce the usage of virgin aluminum.
For example, towards that.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a good question. Yes. So that's what we have initiated globally also, that we have started this used beverage can collection globally. So in other parts of the world, there is that deposit return system is available, especially in Europe and the US and those places. The deposit return system where the consumer, they consume after their post-consumption, they go back and deposit this used beverage cans, and through a chain of people, that network of people like waste pickers or the agencies, the recyclers, etc., it will come back to Ball, or then it goes back to the material supply.
Novelis is the world's largest recycler of used beverage cans. They arrive at its factory in Warrington, England from all over the world, compressed into bales, each weighing up to 1,000 kilograms and containing as many as 65,000 aluminium cans.
Every year, we save enough energy recycling aluminium cans, cars, tools, even planes to run the whole of India.
The bales of compressed cans are loaded onto a conveyor and fed into a 340 horsepower shredder. Aluminium is tricky to sort because, unlike some metals, it can't be separated out with a magnet. So next, the shredded scrap passes through an optical sorter at a rate of 3 meters per second. The machine uses infrared sensors to sort out what's metal and what isn't. Then blasts away any plastic or glass with jets of air. A powerful magnet sucks up any scraps of steel, leaving just aluminium.
Say in India, what we have done is that we have started one pilot project in Bangalore with one of the waste management companies. The company name is Recycle. It is a Hyderabad-based organization. So thereby what we have done is that through them, we have outreached around 5,000 rack pickers, waste pickers in Bangalore, where they have covered around 10 to 12 wards in Bangalore. And they have been collecting these used beverage cans from housing colonies, from business parks and bars and restaurants, wherever available. They collect it and they bale it and give to us for recycling. In turn, we send this to our material supplier for recycling. Thereby, this entire value chain, like a post-consumption value chain, we have networked with those people and collect back those used cans. Now we are also in the process of expanding this initiative to other parts of the country. Even though, as I mentioned earlier, this 92% of the aluminum cans are collected and recycled in India, but that was not happening in an organized way. Because there are a lot of local recycling is happening because it's being used in different sectors. But our intention was that to collect back and again bring as a can again, because within 60 days, these used cans can be brought back into the shelf after recycling. So that's the initiative have taken. Now we are keen to work with this like-minded organization like the NGOs and the who are working with the waste pickers community. We are very keen to work with those people to buy back those used cans for recycling. And as concerned, our sustainability goal also like this. From the current 76% of recycled content, we want to increase it to 85%.
Combination. So the first thing that you would need for this one is to have data points available where all our cans are landing and how are they being collected and how much of them is going for recycling. So have we done that tracking of our...
Yes. So what we have done, Ranjan, is that, as I mentioned earlier, this predominantly we supply to alcohol beverage segment in India, even though CSD segment is predominantly in PET bottle. Alcohol, especially the beer segment, lot of cans are being used. And if you look at the different state-wise statistical information, what we have collected from the excise department, in UP around 70% of the beer is sold in aluminium can. In Maharashtra and Karnataka, around 24% is being sold in aluminium can. In Orissa, 27% is being sold in aluminium can, same as Goa. Okay. So if you look at that, West Bengal again talking about around 12% is sold in aluminium can. So overall availability from this point of view, around 22,000 tons of UBC is available in India for recycling. Okay, so even though it is collected and recycled, but again it's not coming back as can again because it is not coming back to the material supplier here. It is getting to the other material, who are in aluminium business, it is going to them. So our idea is that how do we network with these type of people in different states and collect those used cans, and so how can we collect those things for recycling?
You primarily want that aluminium to come back to the company and you can again make cans out of it.
Absolutely.
That would complete the life cycle and the chain of the products that we're giving out.
Yes.
So going forward, now we talked about aluminium's advantages and advantages of aluminium cans. So it's like all the aluminium companies or the companies that are making beverage cans are primarily sustainable. What is the edge that Ball has over the other companies or other competitors in India? I think there are only 2 or 3 other companies that are making cans in India.
Yes. So what we have done is that other than this UBC collection, other 2-3 things as far as sustainability point of view, the initiatives what we have done is that we have already got this Aluminium Stewardship Initiative certification for Ball units in both the plants in India. So globally, most of the Ball units are certified for Aluminium Stewardship Initiative. What is Aluminium Stewardship Initiative? It is a global recognition like ISO 9000 certification given by agencies. So it is also an independent agency gives a certification for aluminium stewardship. ASI, it's called ASI certification, where the responsible sourcing, the responsible production, sustainability, how you are using the resources, how you are collecting back those cans what you are producing for recycling, how are you going to increase your recycled content. If you put together, how are you going to use most efficiently the resource what you are available. Okay, so these are the things, these are the studies being done, even in the production stage in the unit, how efficiently are you doing the power or water or the human resources, what are the facilities you are giving to the employees, all this part of the sustainability thing. Okay, so looking at all this agency has already given ASI certification, both the plants of Ball in India. So we were the first of its kind company in India to get this ASI certification. That is one thing. Second thing, we already have decided by 2025, both our plants will be totally on renewable energy. Okay, we will be using non-conventional energy, conventional energy we won't be using. So that is one of our sustainability initiative. Second thing, what were the water consumption we are using at the production stage. So there is already, we have taken initiative how to reduce further this water usage. So like this, lot of initiatives we are already taken. And other this one, what we are also initiated is that D&I initiatives, diversity and inclusion, where differently abled people and other gender equality and giving opportunity for the women folks in the organization. So we already decided that by 2025, year on year, what is the percentage of growth we will be, giving opportunity for the women, also for differently able people. So these are all the sustainability initiatives we have taken as a whole. So that's what we can say. Our organization is more sustainable from the point of all these initiatives what we have taken.
Have we come out with any targets for, say, you said we will be moving to all renewable energy. So is there a targeted date, like when we are looking at going net zero probably in the coming years?
2025 is the target for us for both the India plants. We'll be going towards renewable. In fact, the Andhra is already, we are very much in the advanced stage. So that most probably by the end of this year we'll be going towards renewable. And the Maharashtra plant, still there are a lot of policies, a lot of changes are required at the government level. So that work is going on now. So we are hopeful that by 2025 we'll be able to move both the plants towards renewable energy.
It's very interesting because most of the companies are talking about 2030, 2035, 2040. So this is like the first company I'm looking at, like 3 years from now, you'll be like net zero. Also, water positivity you talk about. Is it possible to have a company like yours to become water positive, if not water neutral? Or if water neutral, if not water positive?
Yeah. So water neutral would be possible because that if you're able to improve your efficiency. If we are able to invest some more initiatives in those things, how to make work, because basically these are involved in the manufacturing excellence. So if you are able to improve your manufacturing facilities, adjusting those things and all, I would be able to reach that water neutral this way.
So, Ganeshan, does company also fall under the Companies Act 2013 and the CSR mandatory norms? Because if you have a net worth of more than 500 CR and making profits of more than 5 CR, then you fall under that bracket of having to do mandatory corporate social responsibility activities. So is Ball doing that as well?
Yeah. We have been doing a lot of CSR activities in and around the plants. In fact, last couple of years, especially during the COVID time, we have done a lot of activities, especially for those communities who have been working very closely with us. For example, in Bangalore, in our regional headquarters, what we have done is that we have worked with the frontline health workers, also the waste pickers, because we have been working with them very closely. So we have done the COVID relief activities for the health checkup and we have done, and supplied medicines. That is one thing we have done. Second thing, in our Sri City area, what we have done is that about the livelihood activities for the women folks, because during COVID, a lot of people have got affected because of the livelihood activities got affected. So we have supplied a lot of, we have taken a lot of initiatives to support their livelihood activities. For example, we have supplied sewing machine to the local community, women, people, the folks in the nearby villages, where in addition to the thing, their husbands, whatever money they're earning, in case any livelihood activities got affected because of COVID, the women can also work at home doing some stitching activities and those things by supporting them. And this type of small thing, same thing in Talauja also. We have worked with a lot of community groups in developing those CSR activities in and around the
plants. Talauja is Andhra Pradesh.
Sri City is in Andhra Pradesh.
Sri City, I know. Talauja is where? You mentioned Talauja.
Talauja is in Maharashtra, in Navi Mumbai.
Okay. Sri City, I've been there. We did need assessment for several companies there when this entire area was being developed. A lot of corporates have moved in there. In fact, Hero MotoCorp had set up a plant there, so we had gone to do the assessment.
Yes.
It's a Chittoor area, no? Entire area.
Yeah.
So we went to a lot of villages there. There's a lot of work needed, a lot of poverty in those areas.
Absolutely.
Focusing on CSR there as well. Okay, last but not least, what do you expect from, or would you want a conscious and aware consumer to do in, say, when making a choice for a packaging material, when you're picking up things from the shelves, you would obviously want a conscious consumer to pick up a can than a PET bottle for a beverage. Maybe a message or something for conscious aware consumers. And when they're making even if they're paying more for it, but they are doing a good thing.
Ranjan, if you look at that, the can penetration in India, there is a huge scope for improving that. See, if you look at that statistics, in India, the per capita consumption of can is only 1 can per head or 1.2 cans per head. Okay, compared to, this is per annum I am talking about that.
1 can per capita
per annum.
Okay.
Compared to Vietnam, 70 cans per head per annum. China, 40 cans per head per annum. Brazil, 140 cans per year. So you look at that, the scope what we have in India. Okay, now in India, a lot of awareness on sustainability is happening today. People have become more conscious about using the resources efficiently, and especially the young population. More than 50%. That is India's advantage. What is India's advantage? The demographic profile of India. More than 50% of the population is below 30 years. Aspirational youth, all those things are there. And as I mentioned earlier, the service sector is growing. They have the spending capacity here. And they have become more and more conscious about the natural resources, how efficiently we are using. So only thing that what is India is lacking is that the awareness. People know that there are challenges with plastic and other packaging substrates, but they don't know what is the alternative to plastic. Okay, and second thing, if they look at aluminium, they feel that aluminium is a premium product. It is not so. So especially in the alcohol beverage segment, the beer package in aluminium is cheaper than the beer package in glass bottle, even though the quantity is less. But if you look at the 70% of alcohol beverage sold in beer sold in UP is in aluminium can. Okay, so we are not saying that the UPS who are buying aluminium can, they are rich. Okay, so this is only consumer behavior. Whereas Telangana, the highest consumption of beer happens in Telangana, where the aluminium can penetration is only 2%. Okay, so the people see the consumer behavior, whether it be in Telangana or UP, is same because we belong to the same country. And the per capita income also compared to both the states will be same. So what is required today is that the behavior will change. That is, awareness is required. And second thing, especially in the soft drink segment, the aluminium cans, that is expensive. Because today, if you buy a 250 ml CSD Pepsi or Coke, the drink package in PET compared to aluminium can, there is a huge difference there. You can get in PET around 25 rupees, you will get aluminium can will cost around 40 rupees. But that 10-15 rupees what we are saving today, what is impact on environment, that is awareness we need to create among the people. So what is the environment issues related to that? Second thing, what is the thing going to happen to the nature in the future? So what type of nature and this one you want to hand over to the future generation? So that today's people should think about that. The 10 rupees what we are saving, what is the impact tomorrow? So that is the thing we are lacking today. So there is a need for creating awareness. If you're really talking about sustainability, especially the beverage segment, if you want to do that, we need to work towards that.
I also think sometimes what happens for consumers is they buy whatever is available. Like there is this common saying in India that they say "Jo dikhta hai, wo bikta hai." So when I go and pick up when an individual walks into a store and he wants to pick up a soft beverage, soft drink, what he looks at is he only finds PET bottles often. Because cans are not often stocked by all the kirana stores. So you'll find them at the supermarkets, you'll find them at the malls, stores, but not at the local kirana stores. They all often keep PET bottles, PET bottles. So shouldn't there be a policy change probably or something like that, that gradually even the soft drink manufacturers should also move to cans? Is there anything happening, because you work with the governments as well,
See, especially Ranjan is that on the EPR norms, there is a recent plastic waste management rule says that they have a target for these people, for the especially who are all producing and importing or using, including the brands on the PET bottle, what they are using, there is a target has been fixed by the government. Other things, what the government has done is that recent plastic waste management rule is that there is an obligation on the brand owners to use recycled plastic for packaging beverages, subject to the approval from the FSSAI. But look at that, when you have the collection, recycling, also increasing the recycled content in the PET bottle, all put together, if you look at the cost of the product will go up. So ultimately today, if you have to employ an agency for collecting this PET bottle, recycle it, okay, that won't come at free of cost. You have to pay money to do. Same thing when you are talking about rPET, the recycled plastic for, the certain percentage for your packaging of beverages. Again, that technology is not cheaper. That is also expensive. So looking at that, what will happen? This all will be passed on to the consumer. So then when you compare this and that, this cost of your PET and your collection, recycling, cost of recycling, and your rPET, usage of rPET all put together compared to aluminum can, more or less it become equal.
I personally feel it can be eliminated because there is no. So there is this queries that we had sent to one of the beverage companies. There were these 5 queries that we have sent and we hardly get answers. We keep getting phone calls from them. What is the benefit of having this beverage in the market in the first place? Because it's neither a health drink, it's not a substitute for anything. It's neither meeting our food norms or anything. Secondly, you're sending out these plastic bottles which are just not recyclable. They are recyclable, but we can do without them. But do we even need that product in the market? And the water consumption that is being done by those companies to produce that, and of course the health, the sugar content that goes into the beverage drinks. So probably gradually they should start moving on to at least sustainable packaging and bring it out in cans and pass on the cost to the consumer. If it's expensive, probably consumer will also consume it less.
Absolutely. So that is what the total cost of ownership play a major role in this. So the production to end of cycle plus all the recycling, everything put together, the cost of ownership, that's what we need to consider. Instead of comparing what the MRP thing, what is the cheaper product we're getting in the market. That should not be the question. The total cost of ownership we need to consider, and how are we comparing? Then we need to compare both the aluminum can and PET or Tetra Pak.
What are the challenges that you're facing as a company?
One is that awareness, lack of awareness. Okay, that is a major thing. Second thing, on the different state governments, there is a challenge on excise duty as far as alcohol beverage is concerned for aluminum can, because in India, except UP, all other states, they have a differential duty structure per ml cost. If you look at that, when you take the per ml taxation, the beer package in glass bottle vis-a-vis aluminum can, the aluminum can is a little bit on the higher side.
Why is it so? It should be on the beverage, not on the packaging.
No, not on the packaging. That is what, because that excise duty is like that. Because when your glass bottle, when you package a beer in glass bottle, one case will consist of 12 bottles into 650 ml. That is 7.8 liter will come. Aluminum can, it will become 24 cans in one case. Okay, so 24 cans into 500 will come to 12 liters. So what will happen? The ex-brewery price, the price at which the beverage corporation is buying beer from the brewers, that varies for bottle and aluminum can, because the aluminum can will come with a different slab rate. For example, if you are buying the beer pack in glass bottle, a case costs around 300 rupees. For example, X brand. The same thing in aluminum can will cost around 450 rupees. Just I am saying, because it is more. It is 7.8 liter glass bottle because of 12 bottles in 650 ml. Aluminum can is 500 ml into 24 cans, 12 liters. So the ex-brewery price at which the beverage corporation buying from the brewers would differ compared to differ when you compare the glass bottle and aluminum can.
That's why the policy change is needed. Right?
Yeah. Then what will happen? Then this excise duty based on that. So for this, if you are putting 200% on 300 is what is the tax you will get. If you are putting 200% on 450, what is the tax you are getting? So ultimately, you are taking per ml cost. What will happen? That will become little bit higher for aluminum can. That is what the UP government has done. They have equalized both, whether you package an aluminum can or glass bottle or in Tetra Pak or PET, the tax per ml will be same. So that policies, if the government follows that, all the state governments follow that, because you are taxing the beer, not the packaging system.
Not the packaging. Makes sense.
Yeah. So that if they're able to, if they're able to do that, then the aluminum can become cheaper.
Maybe you need to take the case study from UP to the other state governments as well.
Yeah, we are already doing that. So what will happen? then the beer consumption also, that's what we also showcase to the people, that the UP's, that excise revenue has gone up, especially for the beer segment over the past 7 to 10 years. It is going up, and the beer consumption is also going up. Plus the sustainability benefits what the government is going to get for this.
Correct. And the highest consumption of cans is anyway in UP.
Yeah.
That's
so same way it will happen to other states. So we have done some case studies on that. So what the government can also benefit out of this, one is the taxation benefit. They will get additional revenue.
True.
Second thing, the other sustainability benefits like water saving, fuel saving, energy saving. Even because in India, most of the retail is happening to the private people, except for few states like Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, a few states. I think that Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and one more. There are only 3 states in India have the government-controlled outlets. Earlier, even Delhi also was government-controlled, but even they're limited to the private people. So even the retailers also will save money because for chilling, because when you go and buy a beer, you look for a chilled beer. So the power consumption, as I mentioned earlier, for can is easier to know that, because we have done a study to chill a bottle of beer to take 20 minutes, where can will take only 8 minutes. So that much of energy you are able to save. So the retailer will save that energy. Then breakage is a big challenge for them. So that breakage is 0 for aluminum can. Third one is that storage capacity. If you are having X amount of area is required for stacking bottles, you can X minus only you need to require for stacking aluminum can. Also the stackability in the fridge also, refrigerator also, so much of space you can utilize for stacking aluminum can. So looking at all this, taking into consideration, even the retailers also will get benefited when more and more can comes to the market. And even for the beverage companies also, breakage is less. Even for them, the tamper-proof, that is a big challenge in India, especially in the alcohol beverage segment. One issue what they people feel is that adulteration. So that is not possible as far as aluminum can is concerned. Counterfeiting is not possible. So the government revenue also won't get affected, because a lot of brands in India, they face this challenge.
Interesting. I never thought about counterfeiting. Yes, you cannot refill the can again and close it.
Refill the can, counterfeit. That is what UP and Rajasthan, even they allowed hard liquor in aluminum can.
Okay.
Whiskey and brandy is also allowed to be sold in aluminum can in UP and Rajasthan.
Interesting.
Yeah, because adulteration is a major challenge for them.
Yeah, the other thing also mentioned water being sold and
water, that is also recently FSSAI has approved that packaged water in aluminum can, because taking from other parts of the world, they have allowed that, because the plastic pollution is a major challenge, because especially in the packaged water segment, a lot of PET is being used. So that is a huge environment challenge what the government is facing. So that's what government has agreed, to allow aluminum cans also, because it is being used globally. So there is no safety issues and all as far as aluminum cans are concerned. When you are allowing beer and soft drinks, what is stopping you in allowing water? So these are the initiatives have been taken recently by the government to address the plastic challenges related to plastic pollution.
Last but not the least, there are several things that probably cannot be packaged into I'm assuming there are the things that come in Tetra Paks, primarily the juices, the cold pressed juices that we get in Tetra Paks, or even milk. Now we've started consuming more of Tetra Pak milks. Can that be consumed, can be used in packaged in aluminum cans also?
Absolutely. Yes, you can use, because there are a lot of innovation happening here for packaging. That's what primarily from alcohol beverage segment in beer, from CSD. Now we are packaging spirits and wine and drink like a Red Bull. So globally we separate Red Bull also. Energy drink. So even you can package juices, also dairy products like whatever, Nestle or Amul. They can also package their dairy products as well in aluminum can. That is also possible, because all those technologies are available.
Correct.
It's called Gritto technology is called.
So hopefully we see more companies adopting aluminum and getting into this packaging. Any message that you would have for cost plus leadership or consumers, or say individuals who would be listening to us?
Yeah, see, that my only suggestion or request or advice to the consumer is that there is a need for your changing your consumer behavior. when you go and pick up a package, be it a beverage or whatever you go for to buy something, my only request is that do a conscious choice. Think about that. What is its impact, long-term impact on the environment? So what the money I am saving today, what is the impact is going to create to the environment in the future?